Every year, people mysteriously vanish in forests around the world. It's like they just disappear without a trace. Today's video might give us some clues about these strange occurrences. On May 15th, 2024, a forest ranger in the Blackstone area of Alberta, Canada, was on a routine patrol when he witnessed something terrifying. While patrolling near the forest, something caught his attention: a strange structure made of tree branches, almost like a makeshift wooden shelter. But what really stood out was what was hiding behind a tree near the shelter. A massive, black, humanoid figure was peeking out from behind the trunk. Its size was impossible to ignore, even with the tree as cover. Zooming in on the footage, you can clearly see a round, hairy face staring back. Most of its face was covered in long hair, but it was unmistakably observing the ranger just as much as he was observing it. Is the effect of slow motion in the video. After a brief pause, it disappeared, fleeing without a trace. It was clear that this creature had no intention of attacking him. This was another scene captured on camera, also in the same area. In the forest at night, a deep, eerie sound echoed faintly, as if warning the intruder. There isn't much information online yet about the humanoid creature sighted in this region. The footage shared so far comes from a YouTuber named Sunny Victor, and its authenticity remains difficult to verify. Canada's remote wilderness is known for mysterious occurrences. You never know what terrifying thing might cross your path on a journey. Take this account, for example, shared by the Babs Stanbrook couple on social media. Around October 2022, they went hiking near Vancouver and encountered something lurking in the woods. The photos show them being followed by a humanoid creature, with a face partially covered by long brown hair. The sight was downright chilling. Brooke later replied to comments, insisting, "This is real. The photo is genuine. We locked eyes for a few seconds, and besides frowning at us, it didn't react. It was such a bizarre experience." They were only a few miles from the city, but the memory of that encounter still sends shivers down their spines. While the couple shared many photos from their trip on Facebook, no additional details about the creature could be found. Judging by the creature's stiff facial expression, it looked more like someone wearing a mask or costume. Its build also doesn't seem to match the figure from Sunny Victor's footage, leaving the connection between these sightings unclear. Some people might think that running into Bigfoot in the mountains is a terrifying experience, but this next story might change your mind. On December 20th, 2021, a hiking blogger named Phil shared a bizarre encounter he had while heading to the Appalachian Trail in Virginia. At first, everything seemed completely normal as Phil started his journey. But as he ventured deeper into the forest, things took an eerie turn. He began noticing scattered soda cans and plastic bottles along the trail. Some of these items looked oddly fresh, as if they'd just been left there. Stranger still, the bottles were covered in writing, and the ground was littered with branches that were also marked with words. Adding to the unsettling scene, Phil stumbled upon a dead duck, seemingly killed and left behind. What could have caused this strange combination of objects and the ominous atmosphere?
What the hell? And there's a dead duck here.
The notes on the branches and bottles appeared to describe some sort of religious beliefs mixed with strange lyrics, almost like the remnants of a ritual site. For his safety, Phil decided to leave the area immediately. After walking about 2 more kilometers along the trail, he stumbled upon a simple shelter. These shelters were built by the park authorities to provide a resting place for hikers planning to spend the night in the forest. At first glance, everything seemed normal. Phil set up his tent and began preparing his meal. Just when it seemed like the rest of the night would pass uneventfully, something bizarre happened. Inside the shelter, Phil found an old diary wrapped in a plastic bag for protection. Curious, he opened it, but the contents sent chills down his spine. The handwriting in the diary was almost identical to the writing he had seen earlier at the ritual site. As he read further, he discovered that the diary belonged to a mentally ill convicted felon. It contained horrifyingly detailed accounts of murders the author had committed. Phil couldn't bear to stay any longer, but he was unarmed and defenseless. With the forest pitch dark and the threat of wild animals or getting lost, retracing his steps wasn't an option. After much deliberation, he decided to spend the night in his tent and leave at first light. Around 2 a.m., Phil was jolted awake by the faint sound of footsteps outside his tent. He froze, holding his breath. The soft crunch of someone or something walking nearby was unmistakable. The eerie sound grew louder, and it was clear he wasn't alone.
Really close now, they're like, listen.
He then took the initiative to show kindness to the people outside. But the other party did not respond.
Hello? Hello?
One is that he immediately escaped from the tent in danger and shouted threats at the other party.
Some other time. All right, let's get the hell out of here. I'm leaving, don't follow me. Oh, they're coming. Leave me alone!
He didn't have time to think much and ran frantically into the depths of the forest. Not knowing how long he had been running, Phil only stopped when he felt it was finally safe. Thankfully, whoever or whatever had been outside his tent didn't follow him. Reflecting on the night, he called it the most terrifying hiking experience of his life. Phil now warns anyone planning to camp in the forest. In the pitch-black darkness, you never know if a deranged madman might be lurking nearby. A similar experience was shared by Sam, an avid traveler who often camped in remote mountain regions around the world. His only companion on these adventures was his small French bulldog, Fendi. In April 2023, Sam ventured into a secluded mountain area in the UK for a solo camping trip. The first part of the journey went smoothly, just as he had planned. As the sun began to set, Sam started preparing for the night. He gathered firewood and began cooking. For this trip, he had brought along some steaks and sausages. After cleaning the food, he lit the fire and started grilling, enjoying the peaceful ambience. But then, things took a strange turn. The enticing aroma of the steaks drew an unexpected visitor, a man. Out of nowhere, a stranger emerged from the shadows and appeared in front of Sam, standing eerily close.
And I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit me pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak, so
just some random crate wandering about.
Ha ha ha. The man asked Sam for a sausage and a can of beer. Although the man looked very gentle, the sudden appearance of a large living person in the remote forest inevitably caused fear. During the conversation, Shanmu felt that the man's smile was very strange and his clothes were very worn. Afterwards, the man told Sam about his life experience. His name was Martin, who was a homeless man. He explained how drugs had ruined his life and made him homeless. He could only mix words every day and wander around the streets. After a conversation, Sam got up to look for firewood, but when he turned around, he found that the man named Martin had suddenly disappeared. He didn't, and the crab didn't say hello. In an instant, Sam turned his head and ran as if he realized the danger. In the later scene, Sam explained the operation of the escape to the audience. He thought there might be more than one homeless person here. Martin's departure might be to gather his companions. After all, a solitary person like Sam who carries expensive filming equipment is the perfect blackmail target. Like Martin, Yin Junzi can't guarantee that he will do anything terrible. It's still the old saying that people must be protected,